Here are today's headlines. PHIVOX warns of more eruptions and other activity from Mayon volcano. The Philippine economy posts an overall growth of 6.7% in 2017. The latest SWS survey shows that more Filipinos say they are not poor anymore. The Department of Agriculture launches markets inside army camps to keep soldiers safe. Good day, I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. PHIVOX expects more activity from Mayon volcano in the following days, including more explosions. Weather conditions may also carry volcanic ashfall as far as northern Mindanao. Here's our report.
Authorities warned that the phreatic and volcanic eruptions of Mount Mayon on Monday and Tuesday were just the start, and more explosions could be expected from the volcano. Dr. Eduardo Laguerta of the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOX, said the possibility of raising alert level 5 will depend on the duration of the sustained hazardous explosive eruption. On Monday, a dense 5-kilometer tall eruption column was generated by a short-lived phreatomagmatic eruption of Mayon volcano that lasted 8 minutes. The event generated pyroclastic density currents, blowing of volcanic ash, lava flow, and fountaining, explosion-type earthquakes, and rockfall. In the afternoon of the same day, alert level 4 was raised over Mayon volcano. PHIVOX said ash from Mayon volcano will likely continue falling on areas west during the week. Pag-asa's outlook indicates the easterlies or winds blowing from east to west may prevail until around Friday in Bicol, Samar, Caraga, and northern Mindanao. Such westerly flow would continue until the northeast monsoon, or Amihan, begin briefly prevailing in Bicol this Friday. The Albay Public Safety and Emergency Management Office extended Mayon's danger zone to 9 kilometers due to the volcano's activities. Classes, as well as work in both government and private sectors, were suspended in the municipalities of Camalig and Ginubatan and city of Ligao due to heavy ashfall. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council assured it has enough relief goods as the number of families affected by Mayon's eruption exceeded 12,000. Here's our report.
The number of families affected by the series of Mayon volcano's phreatic explosions has climbed to 12,214 as of Tuesday morning. This was bared by National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council Executive Director Ricardo Halad in an update. The affected families are residents of 39 barangays from Camalig, Ginubatan, Ligao City, Daraga, Tabaco City, Malilipot, Santo Domingo, and Legazpi City, all in Albay. Halad said 7,455 families were being served inside 29 evacuation centers, while another 1,518 households were being aided outside. The NDRRMC assured that the government has sufficient supplies for families affected by Mayon. Supplies include relief and non-food items, she added. The NDRRMC made a statement amid reports that food and gas masks for affected residents are already running out. These items are reportedly on their way to Albay, along with some 5,000 sacks of rice coming from the National Food Authority. To date, a total of 20.5 million pesos worth of assistance has been provided for the affected communities of Mayon's phreatic eruption, utilizing prepositioned resources from the Department of Social Welfare and Development, Department of Health, and Office of Civil Defense. The NDRRMC Operations Center has raised its alert status to red in continuous monitoring of the activities of the volcano and its effects to nearby populace. Evacuation is ongoing within the extended danger zone through the Regional DRRM Council Bicol and Provincial DRRM Council of Albay. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Giselle Danganan.
Malacanang on Monday stressed that the Philippines will gladly accept any foreign assistance to combat terrorism. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said the government welcomes assistance against terrorism from other countries. Concerns were raised over reports that the United States has enhanced its counter-terrorism cooperation with the Philippines through Operation Pacific Eagle Philippines. The intensified U.S. military mission was launched in September 2017 after the Philippine government requested for more assistance in liberating Marawi City. Leftist group Bagong Alyansang Makabayan alleged that the mission aims to maintain active U.S. military presence in the region and undermines President Duterte's independent foreign policy. Roque reiterated that receiving assistance does not run counter with the administration's foreign policy, especially with terrorism as a global concern. Duterte declared martial law in the whole of Mindanao last May 23, 2017, after ISIS-inspired extremists laid siege to Marawi City. U.S. troops were on the ground near Marawi City but were not involved in fighting the mounted terrorist group. Immigration officers at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport foiled several attempts to smuggle 4 illegal aliens to the United Kingdom and Canada. BI Port Operations Division Chief Mark Red Maria said Pakistani Wahid Jisan and Chinese national Bo Hong were apprehended last January 17. Congolese passengers Nati Kanda Mizidi and Caleb Misidi were meanwhile arrested on January 21 at the Naiya 2 terminal. Immigration Commissioner Jaime Morentes said the apprehensions were only the latest in the series of botched attempts by human smuggling syndicates to use Manila as a transit point for their operations. Zishan was apprehended upon his arrival from Kuala Lumpur after fraud examiners certified that the British passport he presented was bogus. Hong, on the other hand, was stopped from leaving for Toronto after he tried to leave by presenting a fake Mexican passport. Meanwhile, the 2 Africans attempted to leave for Vancouver but were offloaded after it was found that the Canadian visas on their passports were forged. Bohol retains its stature as one of the key tourist destinations in the country. Tourism Secretary Wanda Teos said Bohol remains to be the favorite destinations of both foreign and domestic tourists. Teo visited Bohol to grace the groundbreaking ceremony of the 1.5 billion peso water treatment facility in Cortez Town. The DOT Secretary pointed out some of the many attractions that make Bohol an irresistible tourism magnet. She cited the white sand beaches in Panglao and the man-made forest in Bilyar Town as some of the popular tourist attractions. She also cited other popular attractions such as the Chocolate Hills and the Tarsier. The Secretary hopes that with the new bulk water project supplying Panglao and completion of the new international airport in June, more tourists will troop to the province. Still to come, the Philippine economy posts an overall growth of 6.7% in 2017. The latest SWS survey shows that more Filipinos say they are not poor anymore. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
The Barangay Information Office empowers the people, empowers the government, and may it continue to serve this mission, and may other barangays follow the model you have set here in Muntinlupa.
This is Secretary Martin Andanon, and you're watching.
Layunin natin na maiparating ang tamang impormasyon, mga tamang mga programa at serbisyo na dapat na ma-avail ng ating mga kabarangay.
Ito po ay binuo natin upang magdugtong ng kaalaman sa bawat isa nating barangay at mamamayan sa Muntinlupa.
Congratulations po sa inyo lahat.
Sila ang kauna-unahan sa buong Metro Manila na kumpleto po ng information officers. At barangay, ito ay magandang ehemplo para sa Provincial Communication Officers Network. Kaya, mabuhay ang Muntinlupa!
Ito ang gusto ko, total pera naman ng tao, to observe editorial independence through innovative programs and intelligence treatment, analysis of reports, as well as the development of national and international significance.
From February 19 to 21, 2018, The Presidential Communications Operations Office will launch the National Information Convention to strengthen partnership between the private and public sector, encourage communicators to influence for the common good, and to organize a movement to motivate society towards nation building. With over 1,500 communication practitioners participating in 3 days of intense communication courses. The National Information Convention, spurring national development and empowering communities through information. February 19 to 21, 2018 at the SMX Convention Center, SM Lanang, Davao City.
The Philippine economy posted a 6.7% growth in 2017, showing the government's efforts to maintain the country as one of the fastest-growing economies in Asia. Here's our report.
The strong growth of the Philippine economy in 2017 shows its intrinsic strength. This statement was made by Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor Nestor Espinilla Jr. following the release of the country's 2017 Gross Domestic Product Report on Tuesday. The National Economic and Development Authority announced that growth as measured by GDP rose by 6.6% in the last quarter of 2017, bringing the full-year growth at 6.7%. The average growth last year is still within the government's 6.5 to 7.5% target for the year. However, the fourth quarter growth is slower than the upwardly revised 7% in the previous 3 months. Despite the slower domestic output, Espinilla said this remains strong, referring to it as the underlying strength of the economy that rests on increasingly balanced foundation. He said this gives BSP ample policy space to stay focused on meeting its inflation target and pursuing ambitious financial sector reforms. BSP has set the 2018 to 2019 inflation target between 2 to 4%. Meanwhile, Malacanang on Tuesday expressed elation over the 6.7% growth that the Philippine economy registered in 2017. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said it shows that the country is still one of the fastest-growing economies in the whole of Asia. Roque is certain that the economic growth has contributed to the sense of optimism of Filipinos and the all-time high approval rating of President Rodrigo Duterte. The government is eyeing higher economic growth target for 2018 as it accelerated the implementation of big-ticket infrastructure projects under the Build, Build, Build program. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
The latest Social Weather Station survey showed that about 31% or 1 in 3 Filipinos now consider themselves not poor. The 31% said to have transitioned out of poverty consists of 17% who used to be poor 5 or more years ago, and over 14% escaped poverty 1 to 4 years ago. The survey found that more than half of the Filipino population, or 56%, now consider themselves non-poor, while 44% think they are poor. Half of the 56% said they were always non-poor, while 31 of the 44% who rated themselves as poor families said they were always poor. The SWS said poverty hit a record high of 50% in December 2015, but fell to 42% in September 2016. Former Carigara Leyte Mayor Andy Apostol is facing 1 count of violation of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. The Ombudsman Field Investigation Office in Region 8 found that in 2010, the municipality received 6 million pesos to fund the project for the repair of the small water impounding system in barangays Binibihan, San Isidro, and Paglaon. A total of 5.4 million pesos was paid for construction materials and supplies. However, probers found that the project turned out to be a ghost project. Supply Officer Crescente Precias said Apostol commanded him to sign the acceptance and inspection report despite non-delivery of materials. Apostol was also found guilty of grave misconduct. Aside from dismissal, he is facing perpetual disqualification from holding public office, cancellation of eligibility, forfeiture of retirement benefits, and barring from taking the civil service examinations. Preciado was found guilty of simple misconduct and ordered suspended for 3 months. 10 members of the Communist New People's Army decided to surrender to the local police in Senator Ninoy Aquino's Sultan Kudarat. Senior Superintendent Raul Supiter, Sultan Kudarat Police Director, said the surrenderers belong to the NPA Guerrilla Front 73, Cherry Mobile Platoon under a certain Commander Macmac. Chief Inspector Aldrin Gonzalez said the surrenderers, a woman and 9 men, were all residents of Barangay Baluan, Palimbang, Sultan Kudarat. They have been with the NPA operating in the mountains of Senator Ninoy Aquino. The surrenderers turned over to authorities 3 caliber .45 pistols with ammunition, homemade Garand rifle, 2 caliber .38 revolvers, 1 M14 rifle, and 1 homemade shotgun with ammunition. The mayor of Buteg, Lanao del Sur, urged government agencies and stakeholders through Task Force Marawi to help in the fight against violent extremism. He said terrorists such as the Maute Group would not flourish if everyone affected would stand together. Here's a report.
As Task Force Bangon Marawi works on the rehabilitation of Marawi City and other provinces in Lanao del Sur, Mayor Dimnatang Pansar of Butig called for a concerted effort of all stakeholders and local government units in fighting violent extremism. Pansar made the call during the first technical working group meeting of TFBM for 2018. He further said that there is a need to sustain the campaign to eliminate these violent extremists. Pansar also said that if the rehabilitation efforts will not be pursued, there will be a reason for the violent extremists to convince people to join them. This is why it is great that all different line agencies and stakeholders are doing their best for the rehabilitation. It can be recalled that Butig was attacked by Maute Group 3 times, and with the recent attack by which Pansar is already the mayor, 5 barangays are seriously affected. Pansar said that one of the reasons why the Maute Group did not succeed in conquering their town was because of their determination and bravery to fight these extremists. The government of Butig believes that utilizing the expertise of Muslim religious scholars in explaining to the residents the true teaching of Islam is an effective tool to stop the recruitment of the violent extremists. Pansar shared that giving support to the students of Madaris and improving the economic standard of its people, especially in rural areas, are also part of their campaign in combating violent extremism. For PNA Newsroom, Sweet Lukman, Philippine Information Agency.
Up next, Calvin Abueva and Raymond Almazan are removed from the Gilas Pilipinas pool for lack of interest. The Department of Agriculture launches markets inside army camps to keep soldiers safe. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
The Japanese government turned over 225 metric tons of rice for the internally displaced persons of Marawi City through the Tier 3 program under the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, plus 3 emergency rice reserve. A total of 7,500 sacks of rice with 30 kilos each will be distributed to the IDPs staying in evacuation centers in northern Mindanao through the supervision of the Department of Social Welfare and Development. The donation was handed over by Minister for Economic Affairs Makoto Iori from the Embassy of Japan in the Philippines and General Manager Chanpithia Shimfali of APTER to National Food Authority Administrator Lieutenant Colonel Jason Aquino and DSWD Undersecretary Luz Viminda Ilagan during the turnover ceremonies at Mahad Markazi Evacuation Center, Baloi, Lanao del Norte. In partnership with NFA, Ilagan assured that DSWD will make sure that the donation will really reach the IDPs.
We welcome this donation, and the DSWD in partnership with the National Food Authority will see to it that the donation will really reach our displaced individuals.
Representing Marawi City Mayor Mahul Gandamra, Sultan Kamid Gandamra gave the message of thanks. Rest assured that this occasion will forever be in their hearts and memories of their people, he said. The local government of Baloi, which has been hosting about 9,000 displaced families of Marawi, also presented a token of appreciation and recognition for the support of Japan and APTER. Salima Salik, among of the beneficiaries, also expressed her gratitude for the continuous assistance given to them. To to recall, the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe made a commitment about this donation during the ASEAN Plus 3 Summit held last November 14, 2017. This initiative is also part of the efforts of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte in his intensive efforts to create a solid and strategic partnership with Japan. Sweet Lukman, Philippine Information Agency.
Ito ang gusto ko. Total pera naman ng tao. To observe editorial independence through innovative programs and intelligence treatment, analysis of reports, as well as the development of national and international significance.
From February 19 to 21, 2018, the Presidential Communications Operations Office will launch the National Information Convention to strengthen partnership between the private and public sector, encourage communicators to influence for the common good, and to organize a movement to motivate society towards nation building. With over 1,500 communication practitioners participating in 3 days of intense communication courses. The National Information Convention, spurring national development and empowering communities through information. February 19 to 21, 2018 at the SMX Convention Center, SM Lanang, Davao City.
Coach Chot Reyes decided to cut Calvin Abueva and Raymond Almazan from the Gilas Pilipinas pool for the second window of the FIBA World Cup qualifiers on February 22 and 25. Reyes cited disinterest from Abueva and Almazan as it is already their third practice, but they have not showed up. He clarified, however, that the other absentees, Matt Wright, Aline Maliksi, and Japeth Aguilar, were excused. Team manager Butch Antonio bared that Abueva has a hamstring injury, although he conspicuously played in Alaska's Sunday night game against Ginebra. On the other hand, Almazan did not give any reason about his absence in the last 2 practices. PBA OIC Commissioner Willie Marshall has fined Coach Yang Giao and Chris Ross for their late-game tussle during the NLEX San Miguel battle on Friday night. Marshall slapped Giao with an 11,000 peso fine for obscene gesture, use of profane language, and engaging in a verbal altercation. Giao was caught on camera flashing the dirty finger sign on Ross. Meanwhile, for the same altercation plus an earlier confrontation with Alex Malyari leading to 2 technical fouls, Ross was slapped with a 2,600 peso sanction. Also being awaited is the OIC's ruling about the altercation between Eric Canson and Raymond Almazan during the Kia Rain or Shine match on Saturday. Meanwhile, the PBA failed to confirm Ross's claim that Giao gave him a racist remark. Despite not finding solid evidence, Marshall insisted that racism will never be tolerated in the league. In Japan, around 15 people were injured as Mount Kusatsu Shrine in Gunma Prefecture, northwest of Tokyo, erupted on Tuesday morning. 4 of the injured were caught up in an avalanche at Kasatsu International Ski Resort in Kasatsumachi. According to the Japan Meteorological Agency, smoke was initially seen rising from the south side of the volcano, and a volcanic tremor with a large amplitude was also observed. Rocks were seen falling from the site of the volcano. The JMA raised its warning for Mount Kusatsu Shrine to level 3, instructing people not to approach the volcano. Mount Kusatsu Shrine is a 2,160-meter active volcano with its summit located north of the Asama volcano. It consists of a series of overlapping pyroclastic cones and 3 crater lakes. The volcanic peaks are located just outside the town of Kusatsu Onsen, which is popular for its natural hot springs. The Department of Agriculture led the launch of food markets inside Army camps. The initiative not only keeps soldiers safe, but also provides affordable food. Here's our report.
President Rodrigo Duterte lauded the launch of the Department of Agriculture and Department of National Defense partnership in bringing the tienda farmers and fisherfolk outlets inside Army camps. At the launch of the tienda para sa mga bayani at the 10th Infantry Division Headquarters in Tuburan, Mawab, Compostela Valley Province Monday, the President voiced concerns that soldiers who go out of the camps to market for food supply are being waylaid and ambushed by members of the NPA. The President further lauded Tienda for coming up with food sold with reduced prices. He even advised soldiers to have a central refrigeration to preserve the food, especially those which require conserving. Tienda is a marketing strategy which aims to lower food prices by eliminating layers of middlemen in the supply chain, consequently increasing farmers and fisherfolk's income and providing them with market opportunities. Aside from the Tienda outlet at the 10th ID camp, DA and DND also opened an outlet inside the camp of the Eastern Mindanao Command in Panacan, Davao City. Secretary Manny Piñol said Tienda was consistent with the President's vision for available and affordable food for the Filipinos. He said consumers would also benefit from cheaper agri-fishery produce at farm gate prices because these no longer pass through marketing layers and middlemen. Piñol said Tienda would also prove to the people that tax reform for acceleration and inclusion or TRAIN had no effect on food prices because the prices of food products are low. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Lilian Melihor.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country.
Police in Cotabato City arrested on Tuesday afternoon a female relative of slain Maute Group founders Omar and Abdullah Maute. Senior Superintendent James Alan Logan, Regional Director for PNP CIDG Arms, said police served a warrant for civil engineer Najia Caron Maute, a resident of Purok Nayon, Sharif Kamunsuan. The suspect is allegedly the widow of slain Maute ISIS commander Muhammad Kayam Maute. She was also in the arrest order number 2 issued on June 5, 2017 by Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana in the aftermath of the Marawi siege last year. The suspect did not resist arrest when lawmen raided her home. Caron Maute is undergoing tactical interrogation about her role in the terror group. The suspect's lawyers and family members refused to answer reporters' queries about her. Caron Maute also opted to remain silent. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Let's take another look at today's headlines. PHIVOX warns of more eruptions and other activity from Mayon volcano. The Philippine economy posted an overall growth of 6.7% in 2017. The latest SWS survey shows that more Filipinos say they are not poor anymore. The Department of Agriculture launches markets inside army camps to keep soldiers safe. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and all that it is doing for the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Good day.